sorry about that. All right, everyone. Listen to that jazz. Listen to it go. It's piping hot. Piping hot jazz. Let's see. I'll scoot myself over. Or is it that way? That way I'm not in the way. Thanks for joining us. I know we said tomorrow is going to be the bigger stream, but I had some people say, hey, it'd be nice to talk about like personal finance and politics, and that's right up my alley. Because I've been trying to do better about that myself, and it's hard. It's hard with the way the economy is right now. I mean, you want to save money, you want to be financially responsible. Like I said, tomorrow is going to be the big advocacy stream. I've got reached out to a guy who is an addiction specialist. He does counseling, helps people get through like rehab, does some other stuff, and I'm talking to him about getting him on the stream tomorrow. We got several vendors who want to be on the stream, talk, and got a couple other potential special guests, and then we should have a call-in hour or two where everyone can call in. And it's crazy how the community has grown. You know, there's so many people that are like, oh, I never like went online and I never did stuff like that. And they're just like vibing out on Twitch. But I got some slides made, like real basic. Just talking about being financially responsible. And as I was making them, I started thinking, with today's politics, being financially responsible is hard. I mean, people are living paycheck to paycheck. And past that, they're changing the rules so fast, they could pull the rug out from under you at any moment. They're talking about using people's 401ks and pensions to pay for these AI data centers. I mean, Elon Musk, they changed how quickly managed accounts like 401ks could invest into, these companies that are just going public. And it tanked. So if your 401k bought into Elon Musk's IP, they lost money immediately. And it's crazy to think about. I mean, if you look at the state of the world, I mean, the old school advice was to have a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Look at inflation right now. Your 3 to 6 month emergency fund could go from 3 to 6 month to 1 to 3 month in a couple of months. With the price of food, the price of gas, the price of energy bills. I looked at my energy bill earlier. Normally this time of year I'm paying $200 a month, which is kind of high because I'm not in a big place. And I was looking at it, I said, wow, it went up $100 from last year. And I know it's a little bit hotter this year than it was, but it's not $100 hotter. I'm not trying to, run a market in here. And it just, it's hard. Right now things are hard. And with the uncertainty around just everything going on, I said, hey, it'd be good to talk about it. People can't afford homes. The healthy rule is to buy a house 2.5 to 3 times more than your yearly salary. How do you do that? I mean, normal family starter homes are going for $400,000, like in my state, if not more. I mean, that's the last time I seriously like looked what was around me. Last time I did documentation and looked at it, I looked when I wrote like an article on my Blaskatax blog, and what I saw on there was 500,000 to 600,000. And all the cheaper homes are being bought by house flippers, the people like that. They're looking at homes as an investment property instead of a place to live with your family. And yeah, people are living paycheck to paycheck. 1 in 4 households are paycheck to paycheck right now. That's 6 in 10 Americans. Over half of the people in this country don't know if they're going to be able to pay their bills every week. If they have a week where they can't get hours, they have a week where they have an accident, if the tire blows out on their car or anything, I mean, they could be absolutely fucked. And when you have a late payment and they hit you with these exorbitant fees, it keeps rolling. It just gets worse and worse. And you got to dig yourself out of that hole, and you end up paying 3 times more than what you were missing in the beginning. I'm missing $50. By the time you get through all the fees and pay these assholes back, and all of a sudden you paid $150. It's insane. Let's look at this first slideshow I made. Like I said, it's kind of basic. I looked at Walmart online order I did for pickup, just for food and necessities from a few years ago, compared to that same exact order today. The older one was $79 and the new one's almost $200. I mean, that's crazy. That's an insane adjustment from a few years ago. And I 100% believe it, because we've seen it everywhere. Just massive amounts of inflation. Disclaimer, I'm just a guy. I'm not a real financial advisor. It's not in your head. 45% of the dollar's purchasing power has disappeared since 2000. Homes cost 5 times the average income now. The healthy ratio is 3 times. Groceries have raised in price 26% since 2020. Home prices have risen 551% since 1980, and income has only risen 373%. That is a massive disparity. Assets feed you, liabilities eat you. This is a real basic one that, I mean, I think most people would be aware of, but especially for like the younger people that are getting into the job market, you need to own things like real assets, especially with how the Fed is printing money nonstop now. Every time they print money like that, your purchasing power goes down, but the value of hard assets goes up. So if you own a piece of property, and let's simplify it, let's say it's worth $500, this piece of property, and a bunch of other people own property and they're worth $300. Some guys got $1,000 property. When they print money to bail out one of these companies, you get paid the same amount, but they've added this much money to the economy. Let's say they add on average so that everyone's got $10 more on average. Now your $100 home is worth $110. Well, the paycheck stays the same. People's income stays the same, but now they need to pay more, 10% more on their mortgage. I mean, that's really, really simplifying it. But I think that, you should get the idea there. Every time we print money to bail out these companies and we raise the percentage of dollars in circulation against the hard assets, it just takes money right out of the normal working class person's pocket. That's why you look at these big CEOs for these large corporations and they take their payment in equity. They want to own part of that company. They want stocks. Now that'll give them regular dividends that get paid off of the company's profit. But not only that, but those stocks are an asset. It's a hard asset. It's going to track with inflation. It's going to track with the market. When you have cash in a savings account, if that savings account has a percentage that they're paying you, it's guaranteed to be less than inflation. You're going to lose money just for keeping your money in the bank. It'll lose value. Rental properties, bonds, T-bills, index funds, those things will track with the market. Liabilities, finance a new car, credit card balances, most, where things that you own and use on a daily basis. Anything that's not a hard asset. I mean, you could go to Costco, buy a bar of silver, buy a bar of gold. Those things are going to hold their value. And a lot of times they beat the economy in how they gain value. So those are good investments. Buying a car, horrible investment. You lose 20% of value as soon as you drive it off the parking lot. And then, which that might change. The used car market might change since they're introducing all the AI stuff. Be prepared. If you can, I know a lot of people are paycheck to paycheck, save up. You want a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. If you do start buying assets, you don't want to have to sell them when you have an emergency. If you have an emergency fund, you're going to take money out of it before you sell your hard assets. Get rid of any debt that you have. I mean, if you have debt, before you try to invest, get rid of it. Now, if you have a decent job with a decent 401k and they have matching, use it. That's free money. I mean, it's hard to go anywhere in the market and get free money like that. If your employer matches, and the company I'm at, they do exactly what I got on the screen. They do 100% up to 4%, and then it's like 50% to get to 6%, meaning they're gonna match like 5% total if you put 6% in. It's free money. And with the way the economy's tracking, I mean, you do a Roth and you pay the taxes now, later on when you cash out, you don't have to pay taxes on it. I mean, it's an easy win right there. And with the employer matching, I mean, even though the economy is not looking great and there's a really good chance the dollar gets devalued, I mean, you can't turn down, getting your investment matched. Oh yeah, new cars are going to be, a lot of people will buy them because they don't care and they don't think, and that's kind of sad that they're not going to realize what they're buying into until it affects them directly. And then they're going to be all over Facebook. Oh my God, I can't believe this thing happened to me. It's like, think about what you're buying before you buy it. And don't just trust the government or these car dealerships, because this AI tracking stuff they're putting in the cars, they're going to have kill switches in them. They're talking about having like if you finance the car, they're going to have that tied to the kill switch. So you wake up in the morning to go to work and your car won't run, and you go check your phone, it's like, oh, my automatic payment, for some reason my bank had an issue today and the payment didn't go through, so now my car won't run. I mean, they're planning on doing stuff like that. They have patents for it. So they're gonna watch everything you do in that car. They're gonna put a free wireless modem that's going to connect to the cell phone system in your car. And if you wonder why they would give you a free Wi-Fi in your vehicle, and that used to cost exorbitant amounts of money, that's because you and where you're going and all of your data are the product, not the Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi is just a way to get that data to the people who want it. So yeah, do the full match on your 401k. Get rid of any debt, especially high interest debt. If you don't want traditional health insurance, you can get a health savings account, which is a really good way to save money for your health care later on in life, especially if you're healthy now. And HSA is a good way to do your health care, because if you're a healthy younger person and you can be putting money into this constantly, you're going to just have money in the bank later. And you can even switch to a traditional healthcare account, if I'm not mistaken, and still have all that money to pay for costs. Now, for a lot of people, especially my viewers, you probably are going to want traditional healthcare if you can afford it, because I know I'm in and out of the doctor. I know I'm wanting to go to the dentist and I need new glasses. You can put up to 24,500 into your 401k every year. If you can hit that, you're doing better than me, but that's a good amount of money to put in. And then after that, go to a regular brokerage, an investment brokerage. Don't use Robinhood. The only people they robbing is you. Put 4% into your into high yield savings. Do 3 to 4% to T-bills. You got I bonds, index ETFs, REITs, real estate exposure. You can buy small parts of real estate without having to buy like a big chunk of property. There's a lot of investment groups doing this now, where everyone basically works together to buy a piece of property, because land holds its value really well. So instead of buying real estate by buying a whole lot or a house, you put in so much money and you and other people buy it together, and it's a good way to invest. Target date funds, smart way to invest as well. I mean, it's sort of automatic. And if you go to any of these modern brokerages, you can set up automatic payments and automatic investments, and they will split that up for you. And you don't have to think. If you have the extra income, you could just have it set up that every time you get paid, they're going to invest $100 for you. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it'll add up over time. Open the Roth IRA, get a brokerage, Fidelity, Schwab. Don't use Robinhood. Turn on auto transfer. Buy a broad index fund, which we're going to talk about what you should buy later, because the classic advice that made older generations extremely wealthy is not applying to us very well anymore. Don't touch that money you invested. Don't touch it. If the longer it sits there, the more money it makes. Think about the broker you're going to use when you do personal investing. You want to be able to direct register your shares. I know I've got that at the bottom of the list. It's the first thing I thought about because it is so important. If you can't direct register your shares, the brokerage owns your shares, and they're saying that they're holding on to it for you and they're going to pay you when you cash out. It's not a good way to do it. They can take advantage of it. They can give you less than what's fair legally. If you have any issues with your account, they can say, we're going to pay you for what it was worth on this day, and that's it. No recourse. You could watch that share skyrocket to the moon, and it's not yours anymore. You know, you want fractional shares, you want no commission, low fee exit, SIPC insured. Make sure, you know, you're getting a good brokerage. You don't want one that charges you to leave, like Robinhood. You don't want one that won't let you direct register, like Robinhood. You don't want one that pushes you into their products. Who does that sound like? Gamified to make you trade more. That's a lot of them are doing that nowadays, and you gotta avoid it. I mean, you even have betting apps. I know because I've used a couple of these betting apps where you can bet on things and sell your shares of the bet before it even gets to the cash in at the end of what you're betting on. And a lot of them are doing stocks now, and you don't want to have a gamified stock trading thing, because typically you're charged on those platforms. Typically you're charged every time you make a transfer. You're going to be charged to cash out, and they're going to try to encourage you to do a bunch of these trades, and you're going to get charged a small fee. It might even be a small fee, but that stuff adds up. I'm talking about the DRS, the direct registered shares. Put your shares in your name. Don't let there be a broker in the middle. I mean, use the broker, but you want them to direct register shares. You don't want the shares registered to the broker. If it's registered to Seed and Company or Robinhood, it's not registered to you. If you have the stock in your name, when they have dividends, they come to you. If you own a bunch of stocks and they have a big meeting for everyone who's invested into the company, that means you can go to it and you can talk and have them hear you. Because modern companies work for their shareholders to maximize revenue for people who've invested into the company, and that could be you. Like I said earlier, if you aren't direct registered, they have an IOU for you. You don't really own the stock. They're saying, we'll pay you for this, probably. For most working class people, income is that's what's gonna dictate how well you can save money. You know, if you can advance yourself and learn a skill or learn a trade, it's gonna have a big impact on your well-being, on your savings accounts, on your ability to pay for emergencies. I mean, everyone knows, oh, I make more money, life's gonna be a little bit better, but there are things you can do to advance yourself in life, and don't feel like you're stuck ever. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, there's always something you can do. Networking, super important. Talk to people. you could have an opportunity pass you by and never know it because you didn't go and talk to the receptionist at the job you have. I mean, networking is a huge one. And then just learn skills. What if you have something you're passionate about, there's a chance, a really good chance that there is some sort of job involving your hobby you're passionate about that could earn you a lot of money. And you just got to find it. Skilled trades, elevator installers, they're making six figures. Plumbers, electricians, easy 60,000 a year, if not more. The trades, these numbers might be old because right now the trades are booming. It could be median too, because you definitely have states where cost of living's a lot lower, so they're not going to pay as much. But I know, especially where I'm at right now, your typical elevator installer is probably making 160,000 a year, if not more. Go to California, they're making 200,000 a year easily. Electricians and plumbers, six figures where I'm at. No degree. They'll pay you to learn. If you join a union, they'll pay you to learn. They'll put you in an apprenticeship. Look, I agree. I mean, with the way the economy is right now, you can make more money and it's not going to fix all your problems. But you got to admit, there's a big difference between earning $100,000 a year and $30,000 a year. And there's also a lot more security in your work if you're, highly trained and in an in-demand field. But I agree. I mean, when I got into the career I'm in now, I thought, oh man, I'm making good money. I'm going to be able to live it up. And then they did the rug pull on the economy and everything costs 5 times more. And I feel like I have the purchasing power that I had when I was 16 to having a part-time job. I mean, I'm not even kidding. I agree with you 100%, but I promise you, if you didn't start making more money, you would feel it a lot worse than you are now. But I'm not going to disagree with you because that definitely. Oh, that's true too. I mean, you always have to be financially responsible. I mean, it also comes with the territory that if you're an ambitious person, you're never going to be satisfied. But, over the past few years, I've really focused on trying to be more financially responsible and thinking about the future and how I can save. And, a couple years ago, that's kind of what led me into trying to get more politically active. Because I looked at it and I said, man, I'm making so much more money. I'm saving money. I'm able to do this and that. Why doesn't it feel like I thought it would feel? And then I started crunching the numbers and looking at policies that had changed. And it was just like, oh, this is why it feels like that. Because our government has basically stripped a lot of the things that, middle class people would have been able to do by, policy changes. And it's really, putting the squeeze on people. Like you said, you got to work more. You got to work nonstop to really make a difference in your financial, security. You fucking 50, 60 years ago, if you had a small business and a job, I mean, fuck, you could buy 2 houses and a boat and then rent out one of the houses. And you also got to remember things change. You get older, you have more responsibilities. I put this slide in here just because a lot of people I've talked to are like, oh, how can I make more money? I want to do this and that. I saw this guy on Discord who said he had the master plan. Typically, the master plan for those people are you buying their shit. I saw that AI side hustle thing, and a while ago, and that was when like AI first was coming out, and I said, "Oh, they're probably right. There probably are like jobs or like little things you could do to make money with AI now that it's out there." And when I looked into it, I was like, "Oh, the only way to actually make money with anything this guy's talking about is to do a lot of work, like the AI saving you no time." And I don't really support the whole data center thing anyway. That's why I bought myself a nice computer that can run local LLMs on it, because I don't want to support the whole endless expansion of AI intelligence for billionaires. And it turns out, oh, all these people are just trying to sell like a class, and the person that's going to make the money is them, not you. I used to be financially responsible and have an 800 credit score, and now I'm in so much debt, and I've been using a debt resolution company. At least it's close to being done. My boyfriend also crashed my almost paid off car in 2022 at the worst time to buy a new car. My insurance rate is disgusting, but I had no choice, and my car insurance tripled. So it's been hard to save money and do the things I want. I want to do stock trading, all that, but I don't have the extra money. I 100% get it. I mean, it is so hard. Things have gotten more expensive. I mean, that's extremely real. I mean, we can talk about being financially responsible till the cows come home, but it doesn't matter how financially responsible you are if, like, every month things get more expensive, like in a tangible way where you can analyze the data on it inside of a month. It used to be like, well, to see how the market really shifted, we'll have to look at the past 3 years. All the little bit of inflation. We'll see how it really affected prices. Now you can be like, oh yeah, the cost of laundry detergent went from $10 to $15 in 3 weeks. It's hard. I agree. It's hard to deal with, and you got unforeseen circumstances. That's why the first thing I said was, if you're not in a bind and you're not living paycheck to paycheck, save up money for an emergency fund. You have something horrible happen, to have a little bit of money is going to make a big difference, even if it's not a lot. Even if it's just like $500, and something bad happens, and you don't have to think, man, I'm not going to be able to pay rent. You can say, well, I put this money here, do this, and it's gonna suck for the next little bit, but we'll deal with it. But if you got no money and now your leg's broken or something, and you can't go to work, and now you got the hospital bill and you're out of a car, it's hard. Crypto, a lottery ticket, this could go both ways, because you've got a lot of people that have made a lot of money on crypto. But as general financial advice, it's hard to say, hey, go buy 10 grand of Bitcoin, since it seems like it's kind of peaked. I mean, you can still make money on crypto, don't get me wrong. Lots of people do. But if I had like a family of 3 kids and I had to pay a house bill, I probably would not bank on crypto. I wouldn't say, man, this is my way out. All I gotta do is invest in Doge and fucking it's gonna go to the moon. No, I wouldn't bank on it. You can make money on crypto. I'm not gonna say you can't, because you definitely can. But I wouldn't bank on it. That's not what I would hedge all of my bets on. I would treat it like gambling, honestly. Like, it's something fun to do. Maybe it'll pay off. I mean, crypto does have benefits. Fixed supply, you can custody it, you own it. You could say, I own this, and not have a third party involved. Biggest long run gains. I mean, if you bought Bitcoin 15 years ago, crypto can make a ton of money. It's just hard to say, hey, buy crypto as like your one investment. Also, I don't like crypto for another reason. Crypto produces nothing. No earnings, rent, or interest. Speaking of rent, I don't really support buying a bunch of houses to rent out either, because now a young family that could own their homes renting it from you, yeah, that helps you advance, but not them. But I don't like assets that don't help the general economy. I like assets that produce something. You know, you invest in a small business, that small business employs people. As they expand, you get more money. It's a win-win for everyone. But you invest in something that doesn't do anything, it just sits there and somehow gains value. I mean that it it's such obviously like a weird bubble thing. It might have a lot of value, but it's done nothing to gain that value but exist. Brutal swing, 77% top to bottom, half off its 2025 high now. I mean, I put that on there, but that might be a reason to buy. You know what I'm saying? Falls with tech stocks in a crash. Speaking of having to buy new cars, they're fucking money fires. Cars are a depreciating asset. If you finance an expensive car, like everyone needs a car. You need a car to live in most metros in most states. Most of the places in the United States are not walker friendly. The public transit is not very good. And you buy that car as 20% a year, that's pretty much when you drive it off the lot. Like I said, with the changes in the laws around vehicles, those old cars might be worth a lot more soon. So we'll see what happens there. That's what I've said at the beginning of the stream. This advice works, but who the fuck knows what's going to happen in a year with this advice, because they are flipping the economy upside down. In a year, a used car might be worth double what you paid for it, because no one wants to buy one of the AI monstrosity cars. Oh yeah, no circumstances finance a car. Yeah, don't do it. If you can't avoid it, I get it. You gotta have a car. Don't get me wrong. You gotta buy a car. You gotta buy a car. But it loses a lot of money to finance it. I mean, that's the long and short of it. I get it. You gotta buy it. But you need a car to fucking get to work. You need a car to take your kids to the doctor. You need a car to go to the grocery store. I used to live rural, and fuck, you could be 30 minutes away from the fucking grocery store. But everyone needs cars in modern America. I mean, that's why they put the AI in them, because they know you need the car, and now they know they can monitor you in your car. Unless you live in New York or downtown San Francisco or Silicon Valley, need a car there too, but most of them are fucking Waymos. This is what I was talking about though. Everything is fucking moving rapidly. Your retirement is the exit liquidity. August 7th, 2025, executive order cracked open 401ks to private equity, private credit, crypto, and infrastructure. Private equity sitting on $3 trillion it can't sell, and $12 trillion in retirement accounts is the fresh fucking target. BlackRock CEO said the AI build out gets funded from savings accounts, from pension accounts. The AI data center debt is already sitting in the safe bond funds inside your 401k. PIMCO, Oracle, Meta deals. I mean, not every investment account's gonna tank, but I wouldn't want these AI data centers tied to my 401k. There's gonna be a bubble. They're building so many of these things. So many of them. I don't know how you justify how many they're building. There's lots of work you can do with AIs and generative models, but why is every one of these things sitting on top in a desert and then asking for fucking millions of gallons of water? You're like, some of them aren't gonna fucking work. Like, I don't know how the hell they all would at this point. The slow leaks. By 2033, Social Security trust funds run low. 23% benefit cut if Congress does nothing. Pension risk transfers, pensions sold to an insurer. You lose federal protection. They're adding fees to everything. 1% extras, 28% less at retirement over a career. Department of Labor. 2022 safe target date funds for near retirees fell 20% when stocks and bonds dropped. It's already happened. I mean, we've seen it. 2026 Secure 2.0 high earners catch up, contributions forced into the after-tax Roth. Inflation quietly taxes every dollar of fixed income you'll ever hold. I mean, it's hard to know which way to go. You just gotta pay attention constantly at this point. You can't stop them, you can dodge them. Own low cost index target date funds. Check the expense ratio. It's one way to kind of dodge them using you for their liquidity. If your plan starts offering high fee alternatives, use the almost all of your 401ks will let you pick where your investment goes. Do your research. Pick one that you think aligns with your ideals. You know, that you don't have to put it in one that's being used for data centers or to build fucking prisons. DRS, we said it 5 times now. Register your shares. And keep your emergency fund. That way, if something happens, you don't have to sell your assets. It doesn't have to be this way. I think everyone should be more politically active. It's at this point, like, we either all get politically active or we watch the fucking economy fall out from under us, the country fall apart, and probably a goddamn civil war happen at some point. Because I don't know about you, but everyone I talk to, no one's very happy about the way things are going. Even the people that like our current administration are not happy with how their lives are going. They're not happy with how much they pay for things. They're not happy with their wages. In Australia, they require employers to pay 12% into your super. Follows you job to job. In the UK, auto-enrolled pension plus a $20,000 a year tax-free ISA. Canada, tax-free growth account for everyone. Singapore, CPF funds retirement, housing, and healthcare. Norway, sovereign fund worth $390,000 per citizen. Very respectable. The USA, 42% of workers get no workplace plan, and 50% get no match on their retirement. So if you have a match and they have a good match, take advantage of it because it's free money. I mean, at this point, the only way to really escape the matrix, if you will, is to start a business and get assets. I mean, if you have a good career, I'm not saying drop it and go be a YouTube streamer. I mean, I have people tell me they love my stream and it's not paying any bills. You gotta combine extreme luck with networking with the right people and being a sellout usually to turn that type of thing into a career. But if you do have a marketable skill or some sort of passion that you can work on the weekends and you know, commodify it somehow, there's a really good chance that could make up a lot of your income pretty quickly, and you could generate real assets doing it. So think about that. Think about what you're passionate about, what you know, if you have a hobby that takes skill, if you make art of some form, you know, people will buy it usually. But regular job can make real wealth if you are financially responsible, as Resist said. You know, it doesn't matter how much money you make if you're not financially responsible. If you're financially responsible, you can turn no money into a lot of money. And then at the end, you own assets, and it's harder for the Federal Reserve to print you into bankruptcy. Boring. Nowadays, boring's good. Set up an automatic investment. What's that? What's that one called? The kid made one that oh man, I'm gonna have to look it up. The guy made an investment fund thing that it tracks what politicians are investing in. Autopilot. I think that was the original one. But yeah, you got stuff like that out there now where they will tell you what the people who are not doing insider trading are buying, and they're investing in MAT and rehab centers right now. They probably are. They probably invested in them over the past 2 years. And one of the things that I was looking into is, you know, we can talk about this a lot more tomorrow, but some of the bigger companies that were originally in the market, a lot of them were funded and started by pharmaceutical money and private equity money. And there has been people discussing, did they start it like this to and then advertise with all the crazy names like Perks, Hydroxys, and Doziofios, and all these crazy names, and just like horrible ways to present themselves, like the ice cream cones and making them look like Skittles, and having Facebook ads that are like, hey, you're gonna love this, improve your mood, take one of these every day, and no disclaimers on it. There's a lot of people that have been saying, hey, we wonder if these guys at the top, that all their money's coming from old conservative money, did they set this up to tank it on purpose because they didn't want it to stick around? So when they heard about it coming around, they said, let's get ahead of this thing and we'll dominate the market, we'll tank it, and then it's done. I mean, I don't know. It's just weird. You look at those big companies, how much money they made, and you go on their websites and there's nothing about what's going on. Like, what do you think the first thing you would see is, hey guys, go fight the ban? Do they not care? There's nothing. Everything says low stock. Where's the information? Oh, orders closing. It doesn't even say why. It really makes you wonder. You know, like, why aren't they making a big deal out of this? I'd be scared shitless if I was one of the. Look at the real vendors. Look at how the real vendors are acting. I mean, they're having massive sales. They're rallying people to fight and organize because this is their livelihood. These really big companies that have made hundreds of millions of dollars, they act like they don't care. It makes you wonder, did they get in this thing to get as much as money as they could before they purposefully destroyed the industry? Crash it out, and that way their pharmaceutical investments and their investments into rehab and MAT programs skyrocket. I mean, some of these private equity firms are tied into like prisons. I mean, they're going to make money every direction you can imagine after everyone has to go through their life-changing ordeals. Just food for thought. Oops. We're not broke. Think about it. I mean, I don't want to disparage the other advocacy groups because they've done great work. They have a lot more money than the groups I've worked with, like Haven Access. A lot more money. And we had ads online first fucking thing. Immediately. Ads online. Immediately organizing people. Trying to bring in experts. I mean, we were digging into our own pockets to fund stuff. And we weren't going out and saying, hey guys, donate. We didn't have big companies like here have another $200,000. A lot of the bigger guys, I mean, they were getting paychecks from, Shaman, Seven Ohms, Hydroxy. They were pretty well funded. I mean, you look at their webinars and they have 6 or 7 people on there with $100,000 salaries. And how are they paying all those people to operate? They're getting pretty good checks. It just makes you wonder, like, where was the outcry? 2016 during the Plainleaf potential ban. And you saw people quickly organize. They went and protested. I mean, they did everything you can imagine. And now, from what I heard, the only protest that was organized, they kind of told them not to do it. I don't know. That's what I heard through the grapevine. It just makes you wonder. We're not broke. Look up. The economy's better than it's ever been. They brag about it on the TV. There's no money for health care, for child care, no money for a starter home that costs less than a kidney. Tighten your belt. Don't buy avocado toast. Don't buy coffee. And then they found $4 trillion for a tax cut aimed at the most wealthy people in the country in an afternoon. Cupboard's only empty when you need some bread, when you're hungry. When they want something, there's fucking sugar, bread, coffee. The United States is the richest country in human history. $29 trillion economy. We spend more public money per person on healthcare than the countries that cover every single person with full healthcare coverage. The money didn't vanish, it moved up. We went from 22.8% to 31.9% of the total wealth held by the top 1%. Wealth held by the bottom half went down 1% from 3.5% to 2.1%. CEO pay went from 60 times the average worker to 281 times. Productivity versus pay, 92 to 34. That's since 1979, and the rest of them are from 1989 to now. The 90s were such a magical time. I mean, I wish I was the age I am now in the early 90s. Like, you really could. You could do mildly well. You didn't have to struggle. You could do all right and pay for your family and have a nice car, buy a house. And we work more than ever. They say efficiency is way up. You know, but the pay isn't. Somehow we're producing more than ever and getting paid less than ever. We already paid, we just don't get it. 2 times 14,775 per person versus 7,860 in peer nations. Our life expectancy is down among rich nations. We're 3 to 4 years behind. Poppin said, I'm already on my 9th hour of work today. People are working more than ever. And they're able to afford less than ever. Canada spends per person on admin and middlemen 5 times. We spend enough to cover everyone twice in healthcare. Canada spends 5 times per person on admin and middlemen. Most of the money's going to insurers and billing. I mean, it's a toll booth to go to the doctor's office. We talked about that earlier in Bronx's room. People aren't going to the doctor. Like, people don't even know. I mean, they're afraid to go to the doctor, for one, and then 2, they're not used to it because they can't afford it. Proof it's a choice. We have a dial. In 2021, child poverty was 5.2% of the population, a record low. The expanded child tax credit. 2022, we turned it off. It doubled. Congress let the credit expire. 5 million kids went to poverty like that. Not something we should be playing around with, really, but if you work 40 hours, you should be able to live a normal life without struggling. I mean, at one point when we had stronger unions, at the end of working for all of our labor laws and our regulations, that was the goal. That was the early 90s. Normal person put in their 40-hour work week and they were paid a reasonable amount and they were able to go out and provide for themselves and their family, buy a home, buy a car, invest for the future. My mom, who died of cancer, was more worried about money than her health and treatments. I mean, it's sad, but a lot of people are going to be like that, especially as our generation gets older. People are going to be more worried about being able to afford things just because of how expensive it is. You don't want to affect your family. Read the receipt. Social Security. Where your taxes go. 22% to Social Security, 14% to Medicare, Medicaid, and health, 14%. Interest on debt, 13.8%. That's a major one that's really fucking us. We have allowed our politicians to rack this country into so much debt. If we keep going the way we're going, at some point, the people we have gotten into this debt with are going to come a calling for us to pay them back. And if they do that when we're really down, they're going to be able to negotiate whatever they want out of us. They're going to say, we want your national parks. We want to put tolls on all your roads. You're going to give us water rights. And our government, the way they are, will probably agree to all of it. And we won't own, we'll live in the country's prisoners. We already sort of do with how they're selling us out to Israel through our military merger. I mean, that's another beginning of the end scenario that we all need to come together and fight before it's too late. $2.2 trillion a year tax breaks the government chooses not to collect, bigger than Social Security. Pentagon failed 7 audits in a row. 4.1 trillion in assets that can't be accounted for. F-35's lifetime costs. Boeing's markup on Air Force parts. They sell $149,000 soap dispensers. I mean, on the back end of that, they're definitely funding black sites, secret operations. And they're just saying that, oh, well, we got charged so much for this item. Oh, fuck. We need to fire Terry down in acquisitions. He let us buy another $150,000 soap dispenser. But they know that soap dispenser is probably paying for rent on some building where they beat the fuck out of people for ICE. I don't know what they're doing it for, but you get what I'm saying. I'm saying they're funding secret operations. 1 trillion to 2.1 trillion. That's the interest on the debt. Bigger than our defense spending. We talked about personal finance and paying off debt. How the interest on that would just eat away at you. And what about the federal debt? That's just a huge number. And it is a choice. They're making it scarcity happen. If we didn't let the people at the top eat everything and gorge the corporations and waste all of our water and our food, everyone would have enough. It's not like, when you look at things on a global scale, it's not like the whole globe is just dying right now. I mean, they might be dying in the sense that we're destroying the environment and we've destroyed the economy, and where does everyone go in the next couple of years? But you get what I'm saying? Right now, we could feed everyone if we wanted to. If we went to the government and said, you have to do this, like, make the deals, they could make it happen. 4.1 trillion added to the debt by the 2025 tax law, cuts at the top. 3.4% the true tax rate that the 25 richest Americans actually paid. That's a lot less than I pay in taxes. 225 billion a year. That's the single biggest break, the low rate on capital gains and the buy, borrow, die machine. Oh yeah, I mean, at this point it's not about money, it's not about assets even, it's about power. They're taking as much as they can to have more power. Sorry, I'm trying to sit up straight. My freaking back hurts from work. Part-time millionaires. This is Congress. Their salary, while exorbitant in my opinion, isn't the problem with Congress. The problem is that they're doing insider trading, obviously. And they take so much campaign money from people. They don't do anything for their constituents. They do things for the people that give them $20 million at a time. A member's net worth is 5 times a typical family. 1 million versus 193K. They've spent 117 days in session in 2023. I wish I had a job where I could work 117 days a year and get paid, ridiculous amounts of money. I mean, 174,000 a year is what we're paying our congressman. That's a lot of money. I would love to have that job, and only having to work 117 days a year. That's great pay for very little work. 86% of Americans want to ban our representatives from insider trading, but they don't do it, even though it's a bipartisan, very popular idea. If it's such a popular idea, let's do it. But they tie these bills. They say we're going to ban insider trading, and they tie the bill to something absolutely ridiculous that no one's going to vote for. Both teams are owned. $1.9 billion in dark money ran through the 2024 races. About half of all political money comes from the richest 1% of donors. That cycle, the dark money, was bigger on the Democrat side than the Republican side. This isn't your team versus their team. It's the owners versus everyone in the stands. They are sharing champagne up there and laughing it up while we struggle down here. It's not just Wall Street. Wall Street's a big proponent of it. Don't get me wrong. Huge fucking problem. Because they have the money to push the legislation and change how business deals are done. But 1 to 3% of homes are owned by big institutions nationally. 20% of rentals and some metros. 1 in 4 of all homes and 1 in 4 of the cheapest starter homes are bought by investors of every size. 85% of investor-owned homes belong to small owners. The guy with 5 houses, a couple buildings, not a hedge fund. Honestly, that's something we should be regulating as well. I don't have a problem with a guy buying a second home for and I'll rent it out. But these people go, I'll buy one property, and then they use the equity they gain from that asset to buy another. Next thing you know, you own 10 houses, and that's 9 houses you're not living in. And a lot of times these guys will let 1 or 2 of them sit empty. They'd rather Airbnb it every other week and then keep someone living in it because they're making more money off of the Airbnb. And that's a house that people could live in that's not being lived in. We do have a big supply issue. I mean, we need to do something about that. Flippers hit the same starter home. 63% had all cash. If you're selling your home and someone says, I got cash, I don't have to finance it, that is easy, secure money. I mean, most of them take it. So there are different fights that we can get into. Build homes. In Minneapolis, they ended single-family only zoning. They had 12% plus homes, 1% rent increase. They basically put rent in a chokehold by building more homes. Rest of the state saw rents jump 14%. Supply is a cheap, easy fix. Curb the investor bidding war on starter homes. It's mostly small and middle landlords, not just funds. So increase the amount of houses on the market, and we could enact policies that restrict how people invest in family homes. Medicare is negotiating drug prices. First 10 came in 38 to 79% cheaper. That happened this year. We could expand that. Have Medicare tell the hospitals and the insurance companies how much these medications are going to cost. A lot of countries do that. They don't even have socialized health care, and people are able to just go to the doctor because they have medication available. They're not strung up to dry. Building homes takes away from natural habitats, kills wild. That's true to a degree, but there's a major zoning problem. We already have land that's basically not going to be useful for wildlife anymore, and it's ripe to put homes on, but they've zoned it. Our local governments are zoning them to not allow it to happen. And on top of that, you have lots of places where they could build apartments, they could build I'm a big fan of, condos or villas, a nice villa where you have four decent homes on one property and they share like a nice outdoor space. Those are very nice. That's not low density, but it's not high density. It it means you can buy a cheaper home. Yeah, you're gonna share some property with other people, but you're not gonna be door to door, wall to wall with them, hearing them all the time. It's a very reasonable way to increase the density of housing without having it be miserable from just those massive apartment buildings. And nowhere wants to build them. Nowhere wants to build villas and condos. I mean, if you could share one wall and actually have a decent amount of space in a yard and own it, and that's one piece of property. Now you got two families living on it. I mean, and you don't have to have the crazy high density. But nowhere wants to zone them anymore. They always zone these single family homes. A lot near me, they have there's a town where they've made the zoning where you basically have to be wealthy to live there, and you have to have at least an acre to build. Everything has to be built a certain way, and they've designed it that way to keep out low income people, and they've designed it that way to keep out people that aren't white. I mean, they on until the 90s, this area had a racially profiled, legally binding document that you would have to agree to build a home and live in their town. And it's just crazy that we've still, this late in the game, we've allowed these places to do things like this, and we haven't been able to fight them just because they have enough money to get lawyers. They have money to fight us, and we just give up. Well, I wouldn't say we just give up, but it's why have we allowed money to influence politics in such a deep way that you have people that are breaking state law and have a legally binding document to live in their town where it basically says you have to be white. Like, that's kind of on us as a community. Why do we allow this shit? We make up the government. We can march to the city hall right now and say, either get right or we're going to burn this fucking place down. And no one wants to do it. Break the power, make work pay. Antitrust is waking up. Google was ruled an illegal monopoly. A jury nailed Ticketmaster. Right to repair is winning state by state. Right to repair is one we really should all support. There's no reason not to. Why wouldn't we be able to repair things that we've purchased, like a car, or like farmers with tractors? Like, they've made it where you can't even repair something that you've spent $200,000 on. Raise minimum wage. A lot of people say, prices will go up, and you can debate that. There is some economic science behind that. It's possible that some prices will go up, but prices are going up anyway, and the impact of raising minimum wage is probably a lot less than just these private equity groups wanting to make more money. Get the money out. $127 million from one lobby, AIPAC, spent in 2024. $15 million to erase a single congressman. That was Thomas Massie, and it's illegal. Private American billionaires' money, not foreign governments. Our own people are doing this. 1% of donors supply about half of all political money. They're getting to pick who wins. It's that simple. We could fund campaigns for the people. New York City, small donor match. $10 becomes $90 for campaign finances. 2021, 96% of candidates used it, and the most diverse council ever got elected. Democracy vouchers in Seattle, $100. Every voter gets $100 to hand to a candidate. 350% more people got involved, younger and lower income. That's a pretty good idea. 5%, $5 grant, clean elections. Collect enough $5 donations, get a flat public grant, take no big money. 60 to 80% of candidates opted in and ran on that platform. Make corporate crooks foot the bill. 1.5 billion over 10 years is how much you can make by fund a surcharge on corporate crime fines. Freedom from Influence Fund. Roughly self-paying. 0.01% of the budget, not our tax dollars. It's corporations if they don't act right. Have a platform site, a government website where every candidate gets a platform. They can post about their policies. They can say what they want to do. They can put videos. They can put messages. If we did that for every candidate and said, hey, you can't have millions and millions of dollars involved in your campaign, that would help a lot. Free airtime, televised, recorded public debates, and free airtime. This standard. UK, France, Brazil. Other countries already do a lot of this stuff, and we just say, nope, money is free speech now after, Citizens United, and now corporations have a lot more free speech than us because they have more money than us. We wrote the rules. We can rewrite them. Supreme Court calls unlimited political money free speech. That's from Citizens United. You can't cap spending or ban political ads by a simple law. That's what constitutional amendments are for. 20 states have already formally called for a 28th Amendment to overturn Citizens United. It's not a bad idea. UK, France, Brazil already banned paid political ads. They give candidates free airtime. Normal in a real democracy. Constitution amended 27 times. It's not set in stone. We could modify it again. We could fix the vote. Independent redistricting commissions, instead of letting the politicians in charge at the time draw the districts so that they know they're going to win the next election, you have a third party do it. Take the map drawing away from politicians. Let's get ranked choice voting. That way you can vote with your conscience. You don't have to say, man, if I vote for this guy, I'm throwing it away because I think this other guy will win, so I'll go for the lesser evil. Ranked choice fixes that. Open primaries. Everyone gets a say, not just the voter base. RCV had a rough 2024 at the ballot box. It's a fight, not a lock. Best proven single win. Independent redistricting cuts gerrymandering to zero. None of it matters if you don't show up down ballot. Call them today, 5calls.org. They can hook you up with numbers. They got scripts, they got numbers, they can help you, petition for your rights. It's a very good organization. They're pretty progressive. And here's the thing, this is a bipartisan. Whether you're conservative, whether you're liberal, whether you're a leftist, whether you're a tanky, even if you want to burn the whole system down, which I'm kind of there with you. If there's changes we can enact in the meantime that will meaningfully improve our ability to influence our government and live quality lives and have well-being, why don't we take advantage of them? Alone, you're a voter. Together, you're leverage. 68 to 70% union approval, high since the 1960s. New union petitions up 27% a year. Red states, ballot measures win. Florida passed a $15 wage with 61%. Missouri, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Nebraska, Idaho expanded Medicaid. Policies aren't left or right, they're popular. People want to be able to take care of their families. But legislatures try to gut what you pass. That happens. Missouri repealed sick leave laws voters had just approved. That does suck, but it happens. But we could become the government. $500,000 elected offices, 96% are local. 70% of 2024 races were uncontested. It was one person with no one running against them. You could run for an office locally and make a difference, and there might not be anyone running against you. And if there is, you could probably tell them to pound sand. Because a lot of people are tired. A lot of people are tired with just the politicians that have been in power. These do nothing guys. Under 15% turnout in many city elections. Dallas was 6%. A few hundred people you organize locally can win a fucking election. If you can organize people locally, you could get 500 of them together and win most elections in a city. That's how bad turnout is. And that's why they just are able to take whatever they want out of our local governments, because no one shows up. 3 out of 4 school board members spent less than $1,000 to get elected. Doors wide open. There are groups that will train you for free to run. Run for something. Contest every race. 5,000 members. On the right, Leadership Institute. All you got to do is try. Both parties drink from the same money hose. That's a good little section in bold. Where did we go here? They're all getting money from the same places. So you can run and become part of the government and make a difference. You can do it. And then you can fight back from the fact that these establishment politicians all get money from the same place. Call 5calls.org. Lead with the ACA cliff. Vote the whole ballot. Local races, no one contests them. You can vote on those. Find an empty local seat. Back your people. Pick one issue and run with it. I mean, it's simple stuff that anybody could do, and you can make a huge fucking difference. What is up, just another random? How are you doing? I think you're kind of at the I think I'm going to be wrapping up here shortly, but you can always go back and watch the rest of it if you want to talk financial advice. You know, we have quite a bit of stuff we went over on this stream. Is there anybody that's got like a question before we wrap up? Let me know. Let me see if I can find some of these flyers made here. All right, guys. I actually have to make a phone call. Get ready for tomorrow night's advocacy efforts. Tomorrow night, we're going to talk 7 advocacy. I got several vendors that want to call in. I got a guy who works in addiction and rehab. He wants to talk with everyone, Haven Access, and everyone involved. He wants to talk to the BX Army about their plans. And we got a few other people that are interested in chatting with the consumers at large. So be ready tomorrow night. We're going to have a good one. We're going to go all night advocacy effort. We might do another one where we run it until I'm over there going, because the last one we went like 4 or 5 hours. By the end of it, I was tired. But it was a good one. So be ready for tomorrow night. And I appreciate you guys watching. Tomorrow, what time do we start? We do... What did I say? I think I said 7 Mountain Time. Where did that flyer go? Yep, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, so it'd be 9 p.m. I might start a little bit earlier than that, depending on how many of the people that said they wanted to be on the stream will be on. But that's the time I'm gonna plan like the main stuff to be happening. You're Eastern? Oh, okay, perfect. I appreciate you tuning in, though. I'm glad that you liked the stream. Thought I would do something different than the advocacy stuff and we could talk. Like I said, I've been looking at a lot of like politics stuff, local politics, and writing about it on my Blask Attacks blog, blaskattacks.com. And, you know, talk about researching the amount of money that goes into politics and local politics. Just, it's mind boggling. And it made me think, like, what can we do as normal people to save money, to have assets when they're devaluing the dollar, when asset prices are continually going up? And it's hard. They're going to make it hard to actually have something that you can hold on to that will be protected from inflation, that you can give your children. I mean, I talked to one economist that said in a couple generations, there might not be anything, an inheritance, like that might be a thing of the past that people don't even talk about. At least the average person won't talk about. And that's just sad. I mean, you think the generations before us, they were able to earn a living and take care of their family on one income. And they were able to buy real assets, watch them appreciate in value, and leave them behind for their children. And that might be a thing of the past soon. But yeah, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, we're going to talk all things advocacy. We're going to get some experts on, some people involved in the industry, and we'll do call-in hour. I'm gonna put my phone number up, my patchboard phone number up. You guys are gonna hear the fucking thing ring when people call in. We're gonna take your calls, and we're gonna have a good one. So I appreciate you guys tuning in, but I'm gonna get out of here, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night. No, hold on. Let me click the outro music. Thank you guys. We'll see you around.